That's it right there. The intro to this video is this. The Pissed Off TMP Owl Patch. I know a lot of you TMPers have this, and I hope you wear it proudly, because it does have some significance. You may have gathered that. For instance, have you ever wondered why the owl on the shed is pissed off? Why is the owl armed? What are the eyes in the background? Interesting. Well, it is open to interpretation, that's for sure. But I will say this, my take on it. The owl is pissed off because people won't leave him alone. He just wants to be left alone to be free. But he's not being left alone. He's being harassed, messed with. He's armed because he is free. He's a free citizen. Just leave the dude alone, the owl alone. The eyes in the background are the harassers. Who are they? I'll let you figure that out. But they are entities which should leave the owl alone. Let him go about his business. Quit harassing the dude, man. Just leave him alone. I don't think the shed has that much significance, by the way. Might be an outhouse for all I know. But that is the Pissed Off Owl on the Shed patch. And no, I'm not hawking the patches. They sell plenty good without me ever mentioning them. They sell out all the time at the website. Here's the other version. This is called the Vigilant Owl Patch. It also is open to interpretation, but it's also full of symbology. It has meaning. Like I would hope a lot of what I do here in TMP has meaning. This video will have meaning. It will be what I think a bombshell in the internet, in YouTube once again. Upon occasion, I'm known for that. I don't mean to be salacious. I don't try to be controversial. What I mean to be is truthful in the defense of freedom. That's what I mean to be. To do that, you have to be controversial. To speak the truth, you will generate controversy. Because a lot of people won't like it. They don't like hearing it. They won't agree with it. There'll be a lot of discussion in the comments of this video. That I can guarantee. I think it will be a bombshell. I could be wrong. It could flatline. Get no views whatsoever. We all just move along and lo and behold, it's quickly forgotten. But these are big subjects we're going to talk about. Maybe not the micro topics that you see in the title, but the implications of them are huge. Especially, pay attention, armed TMPer, if you're a gun owner. Okay, for instance, let me just throw this out here. And I was going to set this example in the future, but I don't think I need to set it in the future. Let's say you live in California, right? You have 3 illegal AR-15s, completely contrary to state law. They don't have bullet buttons. You have normal capacity magazines. You're driving along. You've gone to, and this is just completely theoretical, I'm just throwing this out. I do not advocate anyone ever does this, of course. All disclaimers applied right here, but people do it. And I'm going to use this example. Dude goes out to a very remote place, does his shooting, his training, whatever. He's coming back. He lives, let's say in SoCal, Southern California. He comes to a roadblock. For whatever reason. He's heavily armed with illegal weapons according to state law. He generates interest for whatever reason. What do you think about that situation, Mr. TMP or Mrs. TMP or gun owner? Does that generate concern to you? Is it right they set up that roadblock? Remember that. We're going to come back to that situation. I don't want to jump the gun too much. And at the heart of this video is the following, and I want to make this absolutely clear. I love, you love, rule of law. We dig it. We love a peaceful society. A lot of us have served in the military, like myself, retired. We continue to serve rule of law purposes, maintaining a peaceful, ordered society where people are free to come and go as they please, do what they please within the bounds of established common law, but not be harassed. We love rule of law. We can go to the theater, have fun. We can go out to eat, have fun. We can go motorcycling, backpacking, doing all the things we need to do. We don't have to look over our shoulder, worrying about it, or fearing for our lives. That's rule of law. We also love law enforcement that supports that rule of law. That is foundational to this video. It's foundational to all of TMP. That is not debatable. I mean, here we are in year 8 of TMP. How many videos do I have talking about this? Both in the reviews, philosophy, political videos, lots. Dig into the playlist, you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm a big supporter of police officers, of cops, of even federal law enforcement agencies when they are supporting directly rule of law. When they're doing actual law enforcement things that support rule of law. But, you knew there was a but coming, right? That's what this video is about. The but. Because sometimes these agencies, these police agencies, both federal, state, and local, can do things which I feel in the long term threaten rule of law. I think a lot of you guys and gals watching this video will agree with me. This video is about potential abuses of police power in certain circumstances. Yes, it has been on my mind for a long time, and I'm fired up about the subject. It irritates me. I love rule of law. I support it. I will continue to support it. And like I said, I love it when police officers and agencies are doing what they do best: fight crime, find the bad guys, prosecute the bad guys, protect us, and ensure our public safety. That's their job. But when they move out of that role and they morph into what I will call people control, I have an issue with that. A big issue. I love rule of law, but I really hate people control. And that's where we have moved. Notice I said past tense. We have moved there as a society, and I think in the future it's going to get a lot worse because Americans welcome it. You know they do. Look at what they accept right now at, what would be a good example? TSA checkpoints. TSA does some good work, there's no doubt about that, but they also do some harassing. Would you ever in the 1960s and the 70s say, hey, you're going to have to go through a full body scanner? Full body scan in order to go fly on an aircraft. I think most people would go, there's no way. There's no way we'd accept that. And yet now it's routine. A lot of people accept it. Most do. There's a couple say, I'm not going to do that, and they'll go through alternate screening, I guess. I understand that this was put in place by well-meaning agencies, well-meaning individuals that are selling this as a protection to us. Is there actual protection delivered to society for this? And I don't mean to focus on this one example. There's lots though. And we're going to really focus on 2 of them. But let's go back to that one. Are we actually safer? I'll say a big maybe, but who knows? And more importantly, and this is also at the heart of this video, and I really want to hammer this home, at what cost do we accept this as a society? At what cost? It amazes me that Americans put up with it, and it also amazes me that Americans don't ask themselves that, at what cost? This, by the way, will bring together a lot of people from different political stripes. This discussion. Because you can have people from the right, from the left. When it comes to an attack on your civil liberties, you may have a far right dude, a far right left guy come together and be in total agreement. You can have an NRA member and an ACLU member saying, yeah, that we need to watch out for, that we need to overturn. And I think that's awesome. And I would welcome that. I advocate that we don't look at political stripes, we look at issues. Hey, where are you with me on this issue? And you guys know that for me, for the Nut and Fancy Project, the gun issue, the ability to protect your family, your home, to maintain your constitutional and your natural God-given rights, important. It's important to me. I like it. And those political entities can come together and fight against the crap we're going to talk about. I'm not for people control. I think it harms society. couple ground rules. Be cool in the comments, dudes. I know when we talk about these really emotional topics, some guys will get carried away. They'll start grandstanding, soapboxing. Don't do that. Represent your opinion. That's fine. Nothing's wrong with that. You can disagree with me. You can disagree with another person. Be cool about it. If it gets out of hand, maybe we'll get involved. Staff here at the Nut and Fancy Project. We have before. We usually don't. We let it go. I think there will be thousands of comments of the life of this video. And that's good because I do want to highlight this subject. No one's put me up to this video, by the way. No one's like whispered in my ear, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that. It's coming from here. Core to TMP is defense of freedom and in some cases restoration of freedom. And we're kind of talking about that. Okay? I don't ever do anything to get views, to be salacious, controversial, just for the sake of being controversial. It doesn't interest me. However, if I like the views of a bombshell topic, it becomes controversial. I think if it serves the purpose, the good, the true good of society, I just do it. That's why a lot of people subscribe and like watching TMP. They just like, dude, you just don't freaking care, do you? I do care, but I got to speak the truth. You know, when this is all said and done, the project, if it ever is wrapped up, I want to be happy with my work. By the way, I'm not an extremist. I'm not a, you know, a conspiracy dude. I'm a constitutional freedom guy. That's what I like. I believe in the Constitution. I support the Constitution. I worked 21 years as a military officer supporting the Constitution. That's what I'm about. And I make no apologies what I'll say here at all. You know, if you want more of this stuff, watch it. Support me as an audience. You know, I'll throw these out if it flatlines, like I said. Not too stoked to do more. I'll go on to other projects, of which there are thousands. I mean, you may see me in the comments here. You may not, because I have so much workload here in TMP. But I truly believe what we're going to talk about. Which is, by the way, speed traps and roadblocks by law enforcement. Now, I have a lot of police officers and actually federal agency types that watch this project. They have for years. I love those guys. I know them personally. I've worked side by side with them. I still will work side by side with them. I have no issues with them at all. And once again, I think most agencies, most officers are great people. They're just like you and I. I definitely don't want to paint them with, say, oh, they're bad guys. They're not. They're good people. However, some agencies have a distinct culture which isn't so awesome. I'll just put it that way. They get off on their power. They get off on, what I will say, harassing the citizens. Not doing real police work. Now, I go to several states. Let's just say riding my motorcycles. I'll go through Nevada, Arizona, Utah, California. I have experience in all those states. A lot of experience. I kind of know their cultures. I kind of know several of the law enforcement agencies by going through there, knowing the locals, knowing the officers themselves. There are some super cool police departments. Super cool highway patrol agencies. And I could be completely off. But I've never had a problem with, for instance, CHP. Now, no sooner do I say that than someone in California goes, oh, CHP is the worst. Maybe, but I can't say that from my own experience. We're talking about speed traps here. For instance, I don't see CHP dicking around with speed traps too often. And dude, I've put thousands and thousands of miles in California, which by the way is one of my all-time favorite beautiful states. Yeah, I said it. Not politically, but just, man, do they have such a diverse ecosystem. You can find almost everything you want in California. I'm getting distracted. That's why I go there. That's why I travel there. I just love it. And I actually don't mind CHP. Pretty cool. I just do not see them setting up speed traps. I see them helping motorists, fighting real crime, doing this, doing that. I just don't see it. Utah Highway Patrol, I see them harassing motorists a lot. UHP. Now, let me define that word. What's harassing, dude? They're just doing their job. Therein lies the controversy of what exactly is your job in that situation. Let's focus on speed control of a vehicle. And then we're going to kind of morph it into people control. That's what this video is really about. Kind of about speed control, more about people control. And at what cost? Remember, that's a core concept of this video. So you're a police officer. Your agency says, hey dude, we want you to get 5 speeding tickets today. We don't care how you do it. And a lot of TMPers have contacted me, these young folks that you see in QTN videos, and they go, hey, I want to be a cop, I want to do this. And I've always said in those videos, know what you're getting into. Know what may be asked of you. Go in with open eyes. Know your price tag. And this is another example of that. Speaking for myself, I'm a police officer. They say, hey, dude, go out and get 5 speeding tickets. For me, that doesn't sit well with me because it's manufacturing a harassment against usually law-abiding citizenry. Now, someone may roll in, well, that's not law-abiding. Let's say the speed limit is 45 miles an hour. Some guy comes clocking through. You're sitting in your car. You really don't want to do this. He comes clocking through at 60. He's 15 over. Do you give him a ticket? My answer to that, as said police officer, is it depends. That's what a good, which most cops are, officer would say. It just depends. Is he going flow of traffic? Are there children nearby where he's threatening? Are there kids crossing the street and he comes flying by 60 miles an hour? You know, is it a 6-lane road or is it a 2-lane highway with people pulling out all the time? Was he driving recklessly? It just depends. There should be a wide application of judgment in all law enforcement situations. However, getting back to the cultures of certain police departments, they don't like that. It's hard and fast. And let's reduce that speed. Let's say it's 10 over, 55 miles an hour and a 45, of which I've been guilty of a lot, probably today. Probably you too. And that's a really funny thing. When you start talking about speed, you know, someone will roll in and it's like, well, he broke the law. Well, so did you today. Everybody breaks the law in speed. If they say otherwise, they're completely lying. Sometimes there's just a very unreasonable speed limit applied to a roadway. Sometimes for the sole purpose of getting revenue, of setting up speed traps, of harassing the citizenry. Aha! So if you say, well, obey the speed limit. Okay, you're on a 6-lane road. The speed limit's 40. Is it reasonable? No, it's not. Why? Because you look around you and everyone's doing 55. That's flow of traffic. Flow of traffic is usually a good indicator of what a roadway can take. It is a good, broad application of what most motorists and motorcyclists will do. Flow of traffic. Most police officers, most troopers, if they see you going flow of traffic, even if you're over the speed limit, they'll go, I got better things to do. Those are the good officers I'm talking about. Some will go, where's the red car? Where's the yellow car? I want to ticket that guy. And they do. And they get off on it. Let's go back to this. Does it directly serve the purposes of society? That specific law enforcement function. A wide variety of opinions. But I'm of the opinion, usually not. Usually not. Now we're talking about something reasonable. If some dude comes cooking through a 2-lane road, there's residences, he's going fast, really fast, maybe that's a different situation. Application of judgment, cop goes, hey dude, you're being an idiot, here's your ticket. Guy deserves it. We're not really talking about that. We're talking about something more reasonable that pretty much everybody's doing it. And it's kind of like a shark swimming in the ocean. The whole school of fish is right there. All the school of fish are doing the same thing. He just picks one out and nails them. Boom! I understand back east there's roads that transition from 55 miles an hour to 30 miles an hour for the sole purpose of harassing motorists. That there will be cops that hide behind a billboard, a tree. You may see some of these guys in the comments saying, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. It was in Virginia, New York, and they're busting guys all the time. Why do you guys put up with that? That is what I'm talking about. That is abuse of police power designed to get revenue for that locality, designed to harass you on your dime. You'll pay for that ticket. Your insurance rates will go up. And again, some guy, I'm sorry, or gal, limited perspective type will come in and go, well, you should just slow down in time. You should have just been doing 40 miles an hour. Come on. Be reasonable. You know, in some roads, maybe that applies. In a lot of roads, maybe not. I think that's ridiculous. And in some roads, I think you create a safety hazard by doing the speed limit. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people will agree with that. They'll go, oh yeah, this one road, I know everyone does speed limit. Safety hazard. People are going too slow. I was in Mississippi as a young kid. Yes, I grew up in the South. Alabama, Mississippi, Florida. Love those states, by the way. Why don't you live there, Nutton? They don't have mountains. I like mountains. I like ocean. That's why. Amongst other reasons. My dad and I were driving in the car. At the time we had an AMC Javelin. Cool car. Love it. Maybe I'll roll in a picture. I may have talked about it before I forget. It was a ridiculous paint job. I can't believe he put that paint job on it. He did it himself. Put these stupid fins on the hood. They're like angel wings. Like, Dad, what are you doing that for? I digress. Driving down the road, we see a huge vehicle fire on the interstate. He pulls over. I'll never forget this. Ever. Sitting in this vehicle was a black man who was dead, and he was leaned back, and the fire had burned. I don't mean to get gross with you, but I have to describe what I saw. He was burned all the way through. You could see through his neck. He was fried to a crisp. I was probably at the time maybe 7, 8 years old, I think. We found out that he had come on the interstate going like 40 miles an hour. Speak of the devil. I don't remember the speed limit back then in the 70s, but it was probably, what, 70-ish? Some car rear-ended him. He had one of those old-style vehicles, like a Rambler or whatever, a Corvair. Rear-mounted gas tank exploded. The other car was damaged, but the guy got out, and this guy was fried to a crisp. It was very sad. And I just sat there watching this vehicle burn. Now, you may be hearing the story and go, oh, well, that's when you decided you were going to speed all your life. No. I use that story to illustrate the point that if you pull out onto a roadway, accelerating slowly, going slowly, you think it's safer, it may not be. You may be putting yourself at risk. The ultimate example would be a stopped car in the middle of the road. You may say, well, people go around you, they should see you. Yes, they should. But it happens all the time. If you don't believe me, go look at those police videos, those dash cam videos where a police officer, speak of the devil, is harassing a motorist, and someone runs into his car. It has flashing lights, and someone runs into him. So no, it isn't. Speed traps. The bigger issue here is harassment of people and going fishing. Hey, I pulled you over because you're doing 7 over the speed limit. Well, maybe, maybe not. Maybe he pulled you over because he wants to see if you have any contraband. Probable cause. Can I find a probable cause to search your vehicle? Because this really isn't about pulling you over for speed. See where we're going with this? People control. That's messed up, man. Don't ever do it. I never would support that. You know, and again, the question, at what cost? Well, let's say we pull 100 guys over and then we find some with drugs. So what? We pull 100 guys over, we find some criminals that were wanted with outstanding warrants. So what? That may seem like really laissez-faire or, you know, cavalier attitude towards this, but the cost is too much to bear that, to harass people, and ultimately you set the stage for onerous, tyrannical laws that will be enforced by what people are accustomed to. Speed traps, which can morph into something else. A reason to pull anybody over for any reason. I'm not for it. I hate it. And I think if you are a victim of that, you should fight it by every legal means you have at your disposal. And again, I'm talking about the situations that are reasonable. You know, if you're blitzing through an area going super fast, maybe not reasonable. Maybe you're at fault. So I'm not saying it's a carte blanche to, you know, do whatever you want, just blow the law off. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about being reasonable. On both sides, motorist reasonable, police officer reasonable, and that, by and large, is what we see day to day in the United States of America. I don't know about the other parts of the world, although I have visited England a lot, and I see a lot of people control over there. I may reference that here in a second. Reasonable. Hey, flow of traffic, have a nice day. I don't like fishing expeditions, though. Looking for stuff. Go back to that example I said at the outset. You have those illegal guns. Fishing expedition. Looks back, he sees an AR-15 mag that somehow you forgot to store. Probable cause. Because in that locality, this is a completely fictitious example, by the way, he knows for a fact that capacity of magazine is illegal. Now he has probable cause. Now he gets a warrant. He searches you and you go to jail. But he's just speed trapping. Right. I really hate automated speed trapping. Cameras. And maybe one day drones. Because then a human being isn't involved. They take the judgment of a human being out of the process. The judgment of what could be a very cool police officer who has common sense. That is probably a gun owner himself. That is probably an NRA member himself or herself. But that's taken out of the loop. Now it's a camera. Triggered. There's your ticket. When I went down to Davidson's back in 2009, remember that series of videos, longtime TMPers? I was shocked to see that Arizona had accepted speed cameras on their interstate. And they warned me about them. I mean, I talked to the Davidson guys, hey, be careful. If you go through here, there's speed cameras, dude. If you're like anything over the speed limit, automatic ticket. And so it's hilarious. Everyone's on the interstate. They know where the speed cameras are. Everyone slows down to like, whatever, 60 miles an hour. Something ridiculous. And we all go through the speed camera. Everyone speeds up. Do the speed cameras make anybody safer? Nope. Do they harass the citizenry? Yep. Do they put more money into the localities so they can have more big government crap shoved down your throat? Yes, they do. My understanding is that in 2010, thanks to a citizen-based group, what is it? I thought I wrote it down. Camerafraud.org. I could be off on that. They had a petition circulated. It's like, this is crap. We're getting rid of these speed cameras. Kudos. That's what we're talking about. That we're politically active. We fight legally to overturn what we're talking about right here. People control. Unwarranted searches and seizures. Harassment. Fourth Amendment. Ring a bell. That's what fires me up. Cameras. It may be drones someday. They'll dispatch from the police headquarters. You're laughing? Don't laugh. They'll be flying down roadways. They can come right behind you. Technology's there right now. Hey, that guy's doing 7 miles an hour. Comes right back, reads your license plate, veers off. You have a ticket. Never had a say in it. Guilty as charged. Big brother stuff, man. I hate it. So Arizona said, crap. My understanding, I could be off. And they said, they're out of here. Which is totally appropriate for a generally very pro-freedom state like Arizona. Very gun-friendly, by the way. I love Arizona. I couldn't believe they put up with that. A lot of this is for government revenue. They want more money out of your pocket. But it basically boils down to unwarranted people control. Speed traps. Hiding behind a bush with your laser gun. Oh, yeah. Good job, dude. You're making us safer. Jeez. Go do some police work, dude. Like, I drive through, as an example, like Oakland, California. I never see any speed traps over there. You know? Why? Because they're too busy fighting crime. They're too busy keeping the good people safe from the bad people. They got shootings. They got crimes to solve. They have thefts, robberies, things that directly threaten you and your peace as a citizen. You know, they're not sitting over here while the house is getting robbed with their little radar gun. Gotcha. Gotcha. Ha 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 ha. I made you safer. No, you harass citizen. And by the way, that guy just got ripped off and he got his neck slit because you're not being a good cop. It happens. May sound harsh. It happens. But in big municipal cities where there's real crime, there's gang activity, there's shootings, there's a lot of bad stuff going on. You don't see this nonsense going on. In cities like, what was one? Sandy City in Utah. I'm sorry, that's a nonsense police department. They're always speed trapping. Every time I've gone through there, they're speed trapping all the time. Do they have real crime there? I doubt it. Not from the time and energy they spend on speed trapping people. So I see it. Let's go back to my example. Roadblocks. What do you think about roadblocks? Do they serve the greater good? Well, what kind of roadblocks are you talking about, Netton? Well, funny you should ask. There's all types of roadblocks. And they're sold to society as, hey, we're here from the government. We're here to help you. Sound familiar? We're doing a sobriety checkpoint, for example. We're doing an agricultural checkpoint, for example. We're doing a, what do they call it? DHS immigration checkpoint, for example. We're doing seatbelt checks, for example. For the record, and this may surprise some of you, I'm pretty much against all of those. may surprise some because you go, whoa, 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 wait a minute. Some of those are good. You know, do you believe in securing the borders? Nothing fancy. Yes, I do. Well, wouldn't you support DHS checkpoints? You know, immigration checkpoints? No, I don't. I don't think that's a contradiction at all, because within the borders of the United States, we should not be harassed. Fourth Amendment. Don't stop people, detain them, ask them their business. Hey, where are you going? It's none of your business. Hey, what do you got in your car? None of your business. Hey, do you have illegal this, illegal that? Do you have certain fruits that are illegal? None of your business. I just don't like it because of the precedent it sets. At what cost? There it is again. So we accept this. Let's go to a sobriety checkpoint. What it is it's a fishing net being dragged through the ocean. They say it's for sobriety. It can actually be for anything that is currently the zeitgeist, that is currently politically correct. Let's go back to the gun issue. So let's say 5 years from now, all semi-automatic firearms in the entire United States of America are banned, or, which is always a threat, they have a national database. And you have unregistered guns. So if they find them, you can have them, but we need to make sure you're in the national database. If you don't, felony. Now, I've always thought that if and when, you know, guns are made illegal in the good old United States of America, I doubt they're going to come knocking to your door to take them away. I mean, that would result in, I'm sorry, but bloodshed. A lot of people just wouldn't put up with it. I mean, it's going to be like, okay, I knew this was coming. Anybody shows up at my doorstep, you know, it's not good. You guys have seen that. If you don't believe me, click around on the internet, dude. There are people that they just will not put up with that. What you will see is opportunistic enforcement like a checkpoint. Why? Because now you're away from your stronghold, whatever. Your base of operations, whatever. You know, they're on their fishing expedition and they caught you. Probable cause. Let's go back to that AR-15 magazine in the back seat. You missed it. Hey, we got probable cause. Search him. Hey, 2 AR-15s, 3 AR-15s. At a sobriety checkpoint, by the way. Hey, we weren't looking for guns. It's just that, you know, we had probable cause. So, you know, for the good of society, we got to make sure they're registered. Tap in the, you know, the serial numbers. They find, lo and behold, they're not registered. And lo and behold, you're busted. That is why we should oppose all checkpoints. Hey, well, nothing. We'll just register your guns. We'll just register your citizenry? Like in Germany? Because those things are kind of the same thing. You remember the owl patch, what I said? He's armed because he's free. Does he have to register that gun? Let me check the Constitution. Doesn't say he has to register his gun. It's a natural right recognized by the Constitution, so you know, you decide for yourself. I'll tell you this. There will be millions that will say, I ain't registering my guns. Forget it. And there may be some trouble at these checkpoints. Knowing what I know now. I hope not. I certainly hope not. I don't want to see anybody get hurt. But when you set the stage like that, and you're harassing people, they get tired of it. Americans, I don't know about everybody else, but Americans go, no. True Americans, I'm like, oh, I'm not putting up with this. And there's guys right now that do it. And we're talking peaceful resistance, underline score, peaceful. You know, they drive through a checkpoint. Hey, you know, are you, you know, you can pick your battles. I mean, if you go through an immigration checkpoint, hey, what's your citizenry? Some guys just don't answer. They go, it's none of your business. Do they have to answer? I don't think so. Where are you going? None of your business. There's some videos on this, dude. Maybe I'll annotate some. They're hilarious. They go, it's none of your business. And they're legally justified. Unless they have a warrant, I'm not a legal expert, but here it goes. Unless they have a warrant or they have probable cause, and by the way, not agreeing to the harassment or being uncooperative is not probable cause. And don't be a jerk. Be cool with them. But just say, no, it's none of your business. Am I being detained? Well, we want you to pull over to lane 2. Am I being detained? We want you to pull over to lane 2. And this goes back and forth like 30 times. Am I being detained? No, you're not, sir. You're free to go. Okay, have a nice day. For instance, my friend and I were coming out of the canyon. This was last year, and this really pissed me off. We come out of the canyon. We go into, what was the town? Saratoga Springs, Utah. They have some checkpoint set up there. Multi-agency checkpoint. It was at nighttime. I got a little bit of footage. I will try to find it. I can't promise you I can find it. It was hard for me to film, and man, I was steamed. I was trying to yell at the guy, "What are you guys checking for?" "None of your business, sir. Move along." Who cares what they're checking for? Immigration status, drugs, who cares? Because the bigger issue is much more onerous, and that is what we're talking about here. Maybe you catch this, maybe you catch that, maybe you catch a violent felon in that checkpoint, but you've harassed 5,000 people and caught maybe some conscientious objectors, what we're talking about, in the process. And so you made society safer as a police officer? How would you like to be in that agency? "Hey dudes, we're running a checkpoint tonight." What? Why? Well, it's a seatbelt check. Stupid. This is what we're spending our time on? Some do. I mean, when I went through that checkpoint, there were probably 20 police cars, maybe 50 officers there. Had no idea what it's about. There was no notification given. And by the way, if you see you're approaching that checkpoint, they're watching cars down the road, you flip around, they're going to pull you over. "Hey, suspicious." Now they're looking at everything. Smelling the breath, looking for contraband. "Hey, is that a toolbox in the back seat?"
What department's running
Looking
this,
for
I said.
probable cause. Why? Because they're on a fishing expedition. They want to see what they can find. They want to justify their existence. And there's some cops that do that. They get off on the power. They get off on that. Federal agencies too, they dig it. They think they're actually doing something good. And that's the scariest part about this, is they will be participating in this and thinking, "I'm doing something good. I'm helping America," when in fact they're doing great damage to America. They're doing great damage to your freedom. And they don't see it. There's a lot of people in Nazi Germany that fell into that category. They thought they were doing great. There's a lot of people that participated in the final solution that thought, "This is it. I'm doing awesome work here." History says otherwise. History always says otherwise. Sooner or later, it straightens up and goes, "Hey, this is pretty messed up what we did." Checkpoints. I say, pick your battles. It's really up to you. I'm not going to advocate one course of action over another, really. I'm just trying to make an observation here. But I don't like them. And it is your option, your freedom. It may differ from state to state what you have to comply with. If you're an agency and you're in charge of setting up checkpoints, think twice. Does it serve really societal safety? Wouldn't your time be best spent somewhere else? You're a Border Patrol agent. Wouldn't be best served patrolling the border instead of 100 miles away in a small town harassing the people in there, jacking them up, asking what their business are, asking them to pull over? Screw that. Screw that. "I'm ordering you to pull into lane 2. Why? I'm an American citizen. Here's my military ID. So? Meanwhile, the border's completely unsecured. Don't get me wrong. I love Border Patrol. They do a lot of good work. But, there's that but again, there can be some warrantless searches going on. Warrantless harassment. How about this? "Hey, we're doing a drug checkpoint. We just make sure you don't have this, cocaine, that. Here's our drug sniffing dog, by the way. His name's Alex. He doesn't find anything in your car. You're allowed to go." But what if 5 years in the future, again, National Gun Registry, they don't have a drug sniffing dog at that so-called drug checkpoint? They also have a gunpowder sniffing dog. Any alerts on your car? You ever thought of that? "Hey, we had our drug dog, you passed, no problem, but our gunpowder sniffing dog, he alerted on your car. Please pull over, sir. Now we have probable cause. Step out of the vehicle." On goes the search, everything comes out, busted. People control. You see how dangerous this is? And I've heard rumors, but I haven't really searched it. I'm sorry, but what do they call the TSA checkpoints on roads? I've heard they've done it back east. Under the auspices of Homeland Security, I think you'll see more of that. "Hey, we're TSA, we're here to save you. We're just going to do warrantless searches on everything and everybody so we can protect you from terrorists." What? Don't get me wrong, I hate terrorists as much as the next dude. I think they do pose a threat. However, at what cost? Again, you have to stay grounded in freedom issues. We're always balancing freedom versus security, right? In this country, there's lots of court cases to that effect. We need to really weight freedom at what cost? And that's where the ultra-conservative, the ultra-liberal perhaps come together on this issue. They go, at what cost? Government eavesdropping, these are all the same issues. You know, Bush brought all that crap, the Patriot Act, upon us. We're still living with this. Horrible. Horrible. Hate it, hate it, hate it. Jeez. Lack of cooperation is not reasonable suspicion. Remember that. Be professional if you decide to not comply with that. Hopefully you are a completely law-abiding citizen, but maybe, just maybe, you will be a conscientious objector. I think these roadblocks are nothing more than harassment of citizenry. People control. Like I said, we might catch this or that, but it ain't worth it. Hey, we're doing this for your own good. No, you're doing this to justify your existence and to enlarge your power. That's proven in human history, though. Any agencies given power, they want more. You know, whatever. Gestapo, this federal agency, that federal agency, you give them power, they want more. They want bigger budgets. They want more control. They want more people. It's hard to turn off. Once it starts going, how do you turn it off? What federal agency was ever turned off? It just keeps getting bigger, 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 and it gets more in your business. Your business. I think these two issues are somewhat related. Speed traps, like we talked about, it's people control. Does it really serve public safety? In some situations, maybe. I think we talked about that. I was honest about that issue. Most situations, in my opinion, not really. Hey, you know, a guy went flying through, and this is really good. I'm so glad I remember this. You know, maybe someone rolls in the comments and go, well, you know, this guy came rolling through really fast. He ran over a child. That is tragic. It is horrible. Okay? If that happens, there's a lot of factors involved. I mean, was a person drunk while he's driving? Was speed really an issue? Maybe not. It's really easy to go, well, speed's the issue. Last time I checked, when they increased the speed limits on the freeways, it led to less fatalities. I could be wrong. Last time I checked. But if you say that line of logic, well, this happened one time when this one person did this with this device. The device is a car. What did he do? He was going faster. We'll just, for argument's sake, say that it was speed related, that someone was killed because of that. Let's just agree to that. Okay, great. Or not great. Person died because of it. Are we going to change how we do business as a society because of it? Are we going to change how we regulate these dangerous things because of it? How we regulate the people who choose to operate these things because of it? Are we going to change the way we regulate these said dangerous things? Do you know where I'm going with this? Aha! That's right. Guns. Because isn't that the same argument that the protectionists put forward against you owning a gun? Well, we know you're not the problem. It's this guy over here that was a problem. He didn't secure his gun. A small child got to it. They killed their friend. Very tragic. Has happened, but is it indicative of the entire system? No, it is not. It's a very rare occurrence. It does happen. Bad things happen. With dangerous things. Irresponsible acts happen with dangerous things. With cars, with bicycles, with airplanes, with tractors, with guns. But at what cost are we going to try to control these things? Because the funny thing is, the more you try to control them, the less control you seem to have on them. You ever notice that? For instance, Baltimore, Maryland. They have very suffocating gun control there. And yet every night you turn on the news in Baltimore, murder, shooting, murder, shooting, murder, shooting, murder, shooting. Gang activity. This person shot. I mean, the news has to move fast because there's so much of it. Shot, shot, shot. This neighborhood, that neighborhood, shot, shot, shot. And yet, last time I checked, Maryland, you know, guns are pretty much illegal in a lot of ways, aren't they? Yeah, but that's because they can drive over here and get a gun. No. It's illegal. They can get a gun anywhere. Black market. The point being, it's a failure. That the more you try to control it, the less control you have over it. You know, so going back to speeding, I mean, serving public good, really? Maybe. So if someone says, well, you know, it's for the greater good. Well, be careful if you're a gun owner, because going down that line of thought, you shouldn't have your gun for the greater good. I have a whole series of videos called For the Greater Good, do I not? We talk about that. Talk about a bombshell of a video. That was a bombshell. For the greater good, you know, you don't need to own a gun. For the greater good, you need to submit to this checkpoint. For the greater good, I'm going to pull you over and go on a fishing expedition because you were 7 miles an hour over the speed limit. I just found probable cause. NRA sticker, magazine, or the gunpowder sniffing dog just alerted on your vehicle. Be careful. Checkpoints. Hate those too. I think I made that pretty clear. What's the solution? Maintain freedom. Politically be active. Politically be active. Absolutely. That groundswell in Arizona that turned over their speed cams, like that. Don't put up with it. We are fighting a losing battle because, I'm sorry, most Americans don't care about this issue. They're okay if they're going through a full body scanner. Hey, we're making you safe. Okay, okay. Hey, you're going through this checkpoint. We need to check everything in your car, in your purse, in your wallet, in your trunk. But we're looking for terrorists. Okay, yeah, cool. Thanks for that. Most people don't care. That's a society we live in. Most people, it's not even on their radar screen. It scares me. People like you watching this video, they care. They care. They are aware of what's going on in this country. That the erosion of personal liberty, it's happened. It's going to get worse. They are aware that, at what cost? Is it worth it? Well, we're finding this bad guy. Bull crap. You're harassing me. You're after me, a gun owner. You watch. They do national registry on firearms, you're going to see more checkpoints. Mark my words. Local, state, federal agencies will participate in these. If you're an officer, you need to consciously object from these. I highly recommend you do so. Say, I'm not participating in this. I don't think it's a lawful order. Be ready to reap the whirlwind because these agencies are going to come down on you. They're going to say, what? You're not a team player. This is part of what we do. We're doing this. We're doing that. Like, I just don't feel good about it. I don't think it's legal. I can't believe more officers don't do that. But that is proven in history. Hey, why don't you resist this? Why don't you resist the final solution? Well, because it was a zeitgeist. I didn't want to be looked down upon. I had peer pressure. I thought I was doing good. Meanwhile, you just put 100 law-abiding citizens, previously law-abiding, but they didn't want to register their firearms, but they're in prison now. Good people. You know, awesome people. They just didn't want to register their firearms. Now they're treated as felons. Is that right? No, it is not. Yeah, I'm fired up about this. You may detect that. It's real. If you're a police officer, love you, mean it, but do police work. Don't do people harassment, people control. There's going to be lots of discussion about this in the comments. That's how I feel, dude. You know, he's pissed off because he doesn't like to be messed with according to the Fourth Amendment. Leave the dang owl on the shed. Leave him alone. Hey, but he's got a gun. He's armed. He presents a threat to society. No, he doesn't. You present a threat to society by even saying that. How many AR-15s do we have in this country? Millions? Last time I checked, there's not widespread bloodletting in the streets, gun battles. No. Why? Because they're owned by good people. Who cares if they're armed? Who cares if the guy's car does 175 miles an hour? He ain't driving it that fast. Unless he's out in the middle of the desert somewhere. And if he is out in the middle of the desert somewhere, who cares? Let him go. I'm a trooper. Guy comes flying past me in a Corvette doing 170. I may pull him over and say, hey, dude, be careful. By the way, nice car. Have a nice day. I ain't ticketing him. Not out in the middle of nowhere. There's no one around. Now, change the circumstance. There's other people around. He's presenting a threat to other people. There's that judgment. Speed cam doesn't have that judgment. A drone won't have that judgment. You're busted. That's where we're headed as a society. Be politically active. Fight it legally. I wish you the best. This is the Nut and Fancy Project. This is probably another bombshell in YouTube. Enjoy.